just because her hand hurt from the IV. She slapped me across the face. Before the redness faded, the emergency bell from the next room started ringing. I rushed in, only to hear the patient say, "I was just bored and pressed the call button a few times. No need to be so mad." He looked smug, thinking I was overreacting, but he didn't know. His carelessness would cost someone their life and drag me into a nightmare. 2 of my partners called in sick, so it was just me and another nurse, handling a ward full of patients who couldn't care for themselves. I had to do rounds, prepare meds, write reports, and clean up after the elderly who couldn't make it to the restroom. I fought the nausea, got them settled, and just when I was about to grab some coffee, a young woman walked in. She said she was a nurse sent by the director to help, but I couldn't feel happy about it. I barely had the energy to teach a newbie, so I told her to start with the basics, gave her the tasks, and jumped straight into work mode. I checked in with the day shift nurse, carefully noting every detail from diet to symptoms. Then I double-checked prescriptions, mixed meds, updated records. Before I could even line up the bottles, my coworker ran in, saying a patient needed to be taken to surgery right away. It wasn't my duty, but I took a deep breath, told the intern to place the meds on the cart in the hallway, and rushed out. The patient was already waiting. I started explaining the procedure when the doctor called again. Since the moment I stepped into the hospital, I hadn't stopped once. I taught him how to prep for surgery, even handed him a pair of sterile underwear myself. But as I turned to leave, his wife started complaining about the room assignment, said the neighbor snored too loud, and her husband couldn't rest. I bit my tongue and said nothing. When I went to grab the surgical gown, another patient stopped me, demanding to know why her second antibiotic shot was late by 15 minutes. I told her we were short-staffed, that I'd handle it soon, but she kept pushing. I had to excuse myself to get away. Then came the breaking point. The man scheduled for surgery was still in the restroom talking on the phone. When he finally came out, he ordered his wife to remove his shoes and socks, and told me to push him to the OR. On the way, I passed coworkers heading home. Not one of them offered to help. When I finally got him there, he had forgotten to change into the sterile underwear. I waited while he fixed it, then handed him over to the surgical team. Back in the ward, I barely had time for a sip of water before an elderly patient stopped me. His name was Roy. He'd been hospitalized for 6 days, had gone through countless tests, but no one told him the results. I knew he had colon cancer, and that surgery wouldn't likely help, but only the doctor could tell him. I gently asked him to wait a bit longer. He nodded and walked back to his bed. That sight broke my heart, but I couldn't stop. The next patient was already waiting. Room 1's patient needed to drink the PrEP solution before surgery. He said it made him sick, so I suggested a gastric tube. He refused. There was nothing more I could do. As I left, I went straight to room 2. The elderly man there was confused, and his daughter was falling apart. I tried to comfort her, but she said she just wanted her father to find peace soon. When the old man became conscious for a moment, he asked for a painkiller. I agreed, but just as I went to get it, the lab called. They needed the room 1 patient immediately for surgery. I told the old man to hold on, and ran off with the intern to handle the transfer. When we got to room 1, the patient said he felt nauseous. I warned him before, but he didn't listen. I went to get anti-nausea meds, and my phone rang again. It was a family member of a discharged patient, asking me to find a pair of lost reading glasses. Her tone was harsh, and I didn't want to complain, so I said I'd look for them. Before I could hang up, room 1's patient was ready. I quickly ended the call, gave the intern instructions, and wrote down the caller's number. When I finally caught my breath, I remembered the old man who was trembling in pain. I rushed to get the pain meds, but the emergency light flashed down the hall. I ran to the room and saw a man on the phone looking annoyed. I smiled to keep things calm. It was the VIP ward, the kind even the director handled with care. He had pressed the alarm out of frustration. I stepped out, grabbed the prescription, mixed the painkiller, and finally gave it to the old man. But I didn't know that would be the last time I ever saw him open his eyes.